Hi everyone, this is Jamie. Sorry for not filming. I literally took some time off while I had my brother visiting. So today's topic: why are straight men more desired on Grindr? So I decided to approach the topic from a few different sort of points because I think we have to address the big elephants in the room. Because when even when you just I know this is a bit silly, but I was specifically listening to Trixie and Katya's podcast, and they were talking about which men they find desirable, and they both listed straight guys. And then I started remembering posts which I saw on Reddit, my own experiences on Grindr, and etc., where you literally open the app and you always find a few guys which say straight, but looking to bottom, looking to top. I'm a straight verse, everything under the sun. So basically, up to the point that there was a guy who's like, I'm a straight guy who bottoms for gay guys. And I do understand that obviously your sexuality doesn't exactly dictate what you do or the person you end up with. But I think this is taking it a bit to the extreme, and I'll get to that. So I think we have to address the fact that gay guys still desire straight guys because there's a lot of internalized homophobia. Because obviously they think that other gay guys aren't manly enough. And I don't know, maybe I just live in such a place where there's a lot of guys who are very mask, if you must. I don't want to say like straight looking or like mask even, because I really don't like the definitions. But it's really weird when people are like, yeah, I don't date gay guys or I don't sleep with gay guys because they're too gay. And it's like, well, honey, what does that make you, you know? Um, so it just goes from the fact that people, like, I do understand that canonically we gay guys look for guys, but when it comes to like, why are we desiring guys which are unavailable? And I do understand that it comes from the fact that we start off not knowing who to like. We don't have gay bars around us. We don't have anything gay around us. So obviously we gravitate towards the only thing we see, which is straight guys. But at the same time, we have to remember that gay men come in all shapes, sizes, colors, and everything. So you can still find your ideal guy in your dating pool, you know? So that's what I find a bit weird. Because, I mean, why would it like, can you imagine if you got rejected by another guy for saying that you're too gay? Like, you'd be livid. So it's the same thing. And in general, the community has this sort of obsession with like no fat, no femmes. So I always found that very weird. But at the same time, it's like I never had trouble at the same time, so I'm not exactly the skinniest twink. And I look very gay. I mean, sure, I have classmates which thought that I was straight and I would like laugh in their face, and then I got offended and then went back home. And I decided that I need to gay it up because I do not want people to perceive me as straight. Because I just feel like I was in the closet for so long that I really don't want people to think that I'm a straight guy. And I never really went through a phase where I thought I was a straight guy. So that's even more weird for me. So yeah. So I guess maybe I'm saying this from my own perspective, that I've, like, before I came out as a trans guy, I've had attraction towards gay men. I've had attraction. Sure, I've surely had attraction to straight guys. I mean, I can't literally vow under oath and say, oh yeah, I've always been attracted to gay guys only. But I always liked guys which were queer, or some queerness. Like, up to the point that I was thinking to tell this funny story. So I go to the gym. I'm sure if you know me, you've heard about me nagging about the gym. If you haven't, maybe you've seen a video, or if you haven't at all, I go to the gym just like any other gay guy, just like any other guy. And so I specifically went for a trainer, like after my main trainer left. I went for another trainer, despite the fact that I was friends with this other trainer. Because I was like, yeah, I actually went for a straight trainer because I was like, yeah, I don't want a guy flirting me while I'm running on the treadmill, you know? And I'm kind of aware, and this is another funny thing that, like, today I was also, like, on the bus listening to the podcast, and, like, people talk about their insecurities, and I'm like, it's so ridiculous because I was like, yeah, I don't really go to, like, a makeup store, for instance, and ask, like, what do I do about my acne? What do I do about this? What do I do about that? What do I do? How do I fill up my brows? Because I'm usually the person who gives the advice, and it's really weird, like, because I have ridiculously low self-esteem because of previous abuse and bullying. So it's really weird to be in a position where I'm so far along my transition, and I'm so comfortable with myself that people find me attractive, and I have the attractive problems, you know? It's kind of weird. But anyway. So, and there's this gym coach, which I'm friends with, and, well, friends is kind of like in a gym context, you know, acquaintances. And I waved at the guy while I was, like, doing weights. And I think he started, like, either a romance or he was, like, flirting with this other girl. Like, my headcanon is that the guy looks really, like, chaotic bisexual, but, you know, I can't really speak on his sexuality. This is just, like, me gossiping. So, basically, I'm working out, and the girl who flirts with him as well, like, or flirts back or whatever, who's also a trainer, she walks up to me, and I'm like doing weights, so I'm sitting, oh man, I forgot the name of that. I think it's chest press. Anyway, it's one of those, like, where you sit down and you have to pull lower. It's just that I remember the names, like, in Portuguese and etc. And I just remember the location of it at my gym. So I sit down and I'm, like, pulling the weights down, and she walks up to me and she's like, where are you from? And I'm like, well, I'm from Eastern Europe, Paul. And she's like, well, how well do you speak Portuguese? And I'm like, I speak just fine. I've been here like 4 years. And Paul, and I'm really exhausted because I have to speak to this woman while I'm doing a very, very intense exercise. And she's like, where do you study? And I'm like, at university? And she's like, well, what course are you doing? And I'm like, psychology? Like, still pulling, sweating my ass off, barely talking. And then she's like, well, which uni? Because we've got, like, 2 unis, which is psychology here, which are good. And I'm like, well, you know, and I mentioned my uni. And I keep doing the exercises, and this is all I'm doing, those exercises, and they're really hard, okay? Like, I'm a person who never went to the gym before, okay? She should have mercy on me. And I keep pulling, and she keeps asking, like, where do I live? Like, what's my age? What am I doing for a living? Do I work more? Like, what do I do? And she's, like, basically getting all the receipts on me. And I was so uncomfortable at the end of it. And then she left. And then midway, she stops and she turns around and leaves. Or she tells me, like, no, she tells me exactly, like, hold on a second, I'll be right back. And then she fucking leaves and she doesn't get back to me. And she just stands, like, as if she's seen a ghost in another section of the gym on the same floor. Like, I saw her later after I finished the exercise. So I found that very, very weird. I just wanted to say that, like, for instance, just because I waved at the guy and I guess she saw that the guy flirts with me or something, because they have like same shifts or something. And she really got jealous about that and she just went off on me. So it was really weird. So I I don't know. I mean, sure, the guy's cute or whatever, but it's like I would never break like work to go. Like, what if I actually reported her like for harassing me just because I waved at a guy when she was looking, because that's what happens. Anyway, people are crazy. So what I wanted to say is, like, don't do that. That is bizarre. And in general, I don't understand either the other side of the coin. Like, there's the guys who are on Grindr who look for other gay guys, and then there's the straight chasers. So it's like, why would you do that? And in general, like, the more I live in Portugal, the more I see that a lot of guys just like live their sexuality secretly. And it's a very interesting conversation I had with someone, I can't remember who it was, like probably before COVID. And it was like that here it's more accepting to cheat on your spouse, well, your wife, with a guy than it is to do that with another woman. And I found that absolutely fascinating from a psychological perspective. I was like, what? And this is like very cultural here in Portugal, so it's insane. Like, you literally open the Grindr grid, you won't see a grid which does not have a married dude who's cheating. Like, it goes to the craziness that if you're cruising on Grindr, you need to stop caring if you're gonna hook up with a married guy. Like, 9% out of 10 times, sorry, 9 out of 10, you'll end up screwing a married guy, whether you want to or not. They might not disclose it, so be aware. And I do understand that maybe for some people who are questioning, it might be like, yeah, it's more validating, obviously, for trans women, for people who identify as cross-dressers and are still like in feeling the water and feeling more secure about going for the straight guys on Grindr. But for everyone else, it's like, why are you going for someone just because you kind of don't feel comfortable with your own sexuality? I don't know, I don't get it. And in general, I feel like I was reading a thread about it the other day. Like, why are we talking about tops and bottoms? And I said that, well, it's literally because we're evolving from the fact that we used to get questions as who's the man, who's the woman in the relationship, and right now we end up just spitting who we are, and it just feels like we just accepted that and we're allowing the straight people to just stomp over us at this point. I don't understand why we even hold straight people at such a rank. Like, we've literally been oppressed. I mean, I have nothing against being nice to straight people, but it's like, we shouldn't be desiring someone who doesn't desire us or who's ashamed of us. So yeah, but at the same time, you need to remember that if you do fall for someone straight, or if you're straight, someone who falls in love for someone who's of the same gender, and etc., it happens. Obviously, just because you don't identify as gay doesn't mean you have to, because you have your current gay partner. But you should understand who you're with, and you should not be ashamed who you are with. And that's the important part. So in the end, everyone was unattainable. I feel like there's no real proper reason for going after these straight guys, or those who claim to be straight and have been straight while fucking only dudes on the side for the past 60 years, or just fucking dudes. So there's, I think, a lot we need to discuss, we need to assess a lot, and I've spoken about this previously in other videos, that it's very bizarre the way top and bottom culture exists these days. There's the whole demands to be masculine, the whole demands if you're a bottom to be feminine as well. And, you know, this is all in quotes. So yeah, I find that very bizarre. But, you know, that's the way life is. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. It doesn't have to make sense to everyone. It doesn't have to make sense to me. And yeah, there's nothing I can do besides rant on the internet. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'm sorry to send it up short, but I am extremely exhausted and I really wanted to step back into the groove. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please click on the like button so that I get notified. If you liked more and want more, please subscribe. Thank you very much.